Our top focus story, the Ministry of External Affairs has rejected the passport application form of pro-Pakistan Hurriyat hawk Syed Ali Shah Geelani for now. The Ministry of External Affairs has cited technical reasons for turning down his application form. Top sources in government have told Headlines Today's Maha Siddiqui that an incomplete application form was submitted by Syed Ali Shah Geelani. The biometric details and photographs were not given. Not just that, the mandatory passport fees was also not deposited by Syed Ali Shah Geelani. So the government has decided not to process his application form. Many cases are pending against Syed Ali Shah Geelani for pro-Pakistan speeches, and these cases include sedition. Joining me now with the latest is Headlines Today's Maha Siddiqui, who's breaking this big story here on Headlines Today. Maha, take us through the details of Syed Ali Shah Geelani's passport form.
Well, Gaurav, there were reports in the media a short while back that the government perhaps might give in to the pressure from the PDP that Syed Ali Shah Geelani be issued a passport on humanitarian grounds so that he can go and visit his ailing daughter in Saudi Arabia. Now, all those speculations have been put to rest because the MEA has very categorically put it out now in the form also of a statement, Gaurav, saying that his application form cannot be processed in its present form because it is incomplete. What they are citing is that biometric details have not been given in that form, photographs have not been attached, and that the mandatory fees has not been paid. However, the very contentious issue, Gaurav, let me point out here, of citizenship that was reported that Syed Ali Shah Geelani had not filled in that column, that there is no clarity on that. The Ministry of External Affairs has let that issue not come in over here, only stating that the incomplete form, according to them, is the fact that biometrics have not been given, that a photograph has not been attached, and that fees has not been paid.
But Maha, explain the position to us. There is a new passport system in place. Syed Ali Shah Geelani would have to, personally present himself at the Passport Seva Kendra. That is where a computerized picture would be taken. That is where all the other details would be taken, and that is where the money has to be paid. So isn't that the procedure? You fill up a form, and then with a photocopy of that form, with a printout of that form, you reach the Passport Seva Kendra, and that is where Syed Ali Shah Geelani has defaulted.
Yes, absolutely, Gaurav. That is exactly what I'm trying to get to. Saying that while the Ministry of External Affairs is stating this reason of his form being incomplete, the other contentious issue still remains the issue of him not completing the form with respect to the very contentious column of citizenship. Now, the column actually says Indian by birth, by marriage, and by origin. That is the way in which one is supposed to fill it. And reports suggest that that is the column that Syed Ali Shah Geelani leaves incomplete.
Stay with me for a moment, Maha. We will continue to talk about this. Executive Editor Javed Ansari also with me. But before that, I want to quickly bring in Abhijit Jasrotia of the PDP. He joins us now for more on this story. Mr. Jasrotia, your take. Syed Ali Shah Geelani hasn't even submitted a complete form for his passport.
Yes. Regarding this thing, I would like to say is that we were pleading for his case on humanitarian grounds, not at all on the incomplete form. So if that nomenclature of the form is not fully fulfilled, so that way we cannot do anything. Whatever why party president was saying of the stand of the party was this, that in case if he fulfills all the criteria of the form, he should be given passport on humanitarian grounds.
No, but do you concede, Abhijit Jasrotia, do you concede that Syed Ali Shah Geelani needs to fill up the form completely, and in nationality he has to write Indian, and only then his case can be processed, even if it is on humanitarian grounds?
See, if you just go back to your program today only at 6 when I was there on your channel, I said the same thing. That for everybody whosoever in India demands a passport of Republic of India, he has to fulfill all the forms. Whatever is written, that is a criteria for everybody. So he cannot be different from that criteria. And if really, these things are happening, that means somewhere or somewhere he don't need a passport. That is why his or nomenclatures are not fulfilled by him.
And not just that, he cannot expect a passport to be delivered at his house. He will have to present himself at the Passport Seva Kendra, at the passport office, get his picture taken, pay the money, stand in a queue like everybody else, like a citizen of India, and only then he should be entitled to a passport. Caveat, he should meet all the criteria, and if there are charges of sedition against him, then it's the passport officer, Abhijit Jasrotia, that has to take a call on whether he deserves a passport or not.
Obviously, we also agree on this issue that whatsoever are the nomenclatures, that has to be met. And for everybody, every citizen of India, it is same. So in case if that guidelines that are to be followed, that should have been followed, provided if somebody is really serious in getting the passport.
Okay, stay with me. I also want to bring in Sanjay Kaul of the BJP for more on this. Sanjay Kaul, your take on the government decision. It's an incomplete form. It stands rejected.
Well, fair enough. I mean, I don't think anybody is expecting any special privileges to be bestowed upon Mr. Geelani. He is going to appear before the passport authorities in exactly the same fashion. And if the material is incomplete, then obviously it has to be completed. There cannot be an expectation that some special privilege will be bestowed.
But at the same time, will the BJPs agree to a passport being issued to Syed Ali Shah Geelani on humanitarian grounds? Should he fill the form, pay the fees, present himself at passport office on humanitarian grounds so that he can go to Jeddah and see his ailing daughter? BJP has no objections with that?
No, one is that you have to understand that, whatever the BJP's objection may be or may not be, the fact of the matter is this is a Government of India matter. All right. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of debate on whether, the emotional response to this by various factions within the J&K, among the PDP and the state unit. So all that is justified and nobody's getting into that argument as of now. But fact is that this is not about humanitarian, not humanitarian. The fact is that if the procedures have to be followed and if they are not, the papers are not complete, there's no question of actually doing any special favor.
Abhijit Jasrotia and Sanjay Kaul, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. I also want to bring in our executive editor, Javed Ansari, for perspective on the story. Javed, the BJP and the PDP in Jammu and Kashmir, they were playing to the gallery, but as far as Government of India was concerned, did you notice a change in stance? What was the government's stance like on this all throughout?
Look, the government has played it with a straight back, entirely by the book. If there is an incomplete form, he cannot get a passport. This applies to every citizen of the country. The law is the same. It cannot be on humanitarian grounds. You can't give a visa for you can't give a passport to somebody who hasn't filled his form, who leaves an incomplete form. So till that happens, there is no question of the Government of India or anybody for that matter issuing Mr. Geelani a visa.
Javed Ansari and Maha Siddiqui, many thanks for joining me. Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. But this issue was on center stage through the day today. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar insisted that Syed Ali Shah Geelani, if he wants a passport, then he must fill the nationality column in his passport application form. Manohar Parrikar spoke exclusively to Headlines Today. Syed Ali Shah Geelani is seeking an Indian passport. Should he get one, sir, as the Defence Minister of this country and someone who's looking at Kashmir very closely, as someone who's been spreading terror in Kashmir and separatism, should he get a passport?
I'll not comment on it because passport giving is a decision of the passport officers. But I'll say that if someone has applied for passport, he has first of all accepted the basic principle that he is an Indian citizen.
So if he accepts he's an Indian citizen, he should be given a passport?
Decision of the passport officer, not mine.
Okay, but he's a man who has charges of sedition against him. He's been spreading separatist mentalist things in India.
All the factors which the concerned officer should take into consideration, because there is a Supreme Court ruling which says very clearly that no citizen can be denied passport without a proper valid reason. So it's a duty of the passport officer to decide on this.
Okay. Now, in case Pakistani flags are being waved in Jammu and Kashmir, how should the government deal with such a situation?
I think before government deals, the media should stop showing them.
Manohar Parrikar, Defence Minister, many thanks for speaking to Headlines Today. Now, the Terry Director General R.K. Pachauri has failed to get an order on his plea for permission to enter his office. The court expressed concern over the slow pace of investigations into alleged sexual harassment allegations against the renowned environment scientist and asked the police to complete its investigation by the 17th of July. Meanwhile, the complainant in this case, who was allegedly subjected to harassment by Dr. Pachauri. She's broken her silence for the first time. She spoke exclusively to Deputy Editor Atir Khan. She said that her life had come to a complete standstill. Nothing had moved since the past 3 months. She added that Terry should have sought Pachauri's resignation.
We have with us the victim in this case. We know about the legal position in this case and the questions we are supposed to answer. So we'll like to know from you, ma'am, today, are you satisfied with the court's order today, now that it has been adjourned a little bit?
It is a relief for the next 2 months for sure, but he should have been sacked months ago. So this whole situation would not have arisen if he was asked to be suspended months ago. That's all I have to say.
Also, we'd like to know from you, have the members of the governing council of your organization contacted you so far?
No, I haven't heard from anyone.
Another very important thing is a lot of people are concerned about you. As far as your, the question of your transfer is concerned, that there are reports that you have been transferred to Gurgaon. What do you have to say about it?
I've been forcing to move, but I have not accepted any transfer. I am still in the main office. I'm on leave right now, but I haven't accepted any transfer.
Have you been thinking about a switch over? Because it must be very difficult for you working in present environment.
I would not like to comment on that right now. I think it's too soon for me to say. I just want my matter to go on trial as soon as possible. That's all I can say.
One final question. A lot of people are concerned about your well-being, about just, there's so many angles involved in this. And it's a very important case because very powerful people are involved. How are you getting along in your life after this?
My life hasn't moved on past 3 months. I am running court. I have to sit down with my lawyers trying to work on how to oppose application, which have been moved so frequently in court. So I want an end to all of this. I want it all to end. As I said, I want the matter to go on trial as soon as possible.
We are talking within a legal framework. Is there anything else you would like to say, would like to share?
Nothing as of now. I think it's too soon. I would not like to make any further comments. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for speaking with Headlines today. So here's the victim who says that she's hopeful of the judgment. This conversation, of course, happened as per the Act. With camera person Anil Jaiswal, Atir Khan in Delhi for Headlines today.
An MBA graduate in Mumbai was denied a job at a top export company. The explanation cited was his religion. He was told he's a Muslim and that is why he can't get this job. The controversy has made headlines as soon as Zishan took to social networking site to highlight this shocking racial and religious profiling. The company now faces an FIR. Of course, it's apologized, it's blamed this blunder on a human resources asset who was under training.
Armed with an MBA degree, Mumbai-based Zishan Khan hoped for a bright future with a high-profile corporate job. But his dreams came crashing down when the firm he applied to rejected him because of his religion. Zishan applied for a job with Hari Krishna Exports Private Limited, a diamond export conglomerate with offices around the world. But the company replied to him saying it hired only non-Muslim candidates. But Hari Krishna Exports Private Limited says that the entire incident was an error committed by one of their HR trainees who has now been suspended. The company says that it functions without any religious or gender bias and that it employs more than 50 employees from the minority community.
I am outside Hari Krishna Exports office in Bandra Kulla complex. This is the company that denied Zishan Khan a job, not because he is not qualified, but because he is Muslim. The company has issued a statement blaming junior level HR trainee, but when Headlines Today sought a response from the company on camera, it refused. The question is, can the firm be allowed for putting religion over matter and propagating prejudice rather than shattering it? With cameraman Mangesh Sawant, this is Munish Pandey in Mumbai for Headlines Today.
If you want to eat beef, go to Pakistan. Union Minister of State for Minority Affairs, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, he stirred a hornet's nest with this statement at Manthan Aaj Tak. That story and much more coming up with Rajdeep Sardesai on the other side of a short break.